stay closed until Thursday, despite a deal being agreed to secure an international bailout. The Cypriot Central Bank says it's to ensure the whole banking system functions smoothly. People with more than €100,000 in the country's two biggest banks will lose money as part of the deal. I've been speaking to Syed Kamall, who's a Conservative MEP for London and sits on the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee at the European Parliament.
There are three main issues. The first is that we were told only until a few weeks ago that the Eurozone problem was over and they got over the worst and that the Eurozone was on the mend. Secondly, we have something called a deposit guarantee scheme, which means that every depositor or every saver is guaranteed to have their first €100,000 in a bank. Now, in the suggestions last week were that anyone who had less than €100,000 were going to have some of their money effectively taken away, completely undermining that EU law. And thirdly, I think you've got to look at it actually from the German perspective, because this is very popular with the Germans, and when I speak to my German friends, because they're saying, well, hold on a minute, we've been through all the pain. Why should we have to bail out countries and banks that can't manage their own affairs? And therefore, it's very popular with Germans.
The President of Cyprus has said this deal was painful, but the best that could be done under the circumstances. Would you agree with that?
Well, the point is, I suppose, for Cyprus and for the rest of the Eurogroup, is if they wanted to keep Cyprus in, Cyprus had to meet the conditions of the Eurozone. Therefore, Cyprus had no choice but to accept the deal.
What do you think will happen when the banks reopen?
I think one of the biggest fears is actually, if you've got, well, in Cyprus, people will obviously try to get as much money as they can, and there are some of the banks that are limiting how much you can take out. Some banks are talking about only being able to take out €100 a day, and clearly people are going to try and get as much money out as possible. But also, I think you've got to think about savers in other countries that are in trouble, particularly places like Spain, Italy, and others. Because if you've got more than €100,000 in those countries, what are you going to be thinking? You're going to be saying, look at what the Eurozone and the Eurogroup have done in Cyprus. Am I going to lose my money in my bank if I've got more than €100,000?
Well, there was a comment, wasn't there, that this could be used as a model for future bailouts if they were necessary, and the financial markets have fallen after that. I mean, do you think this could happen again?
I would not rule it out happening again. If you're in one of these other countries that's in trouble, or if Cyprus doesn't get over this, needs another bailout at a later stage, I think the savers in countries that need a bailout are going to be rightly worried about the money that they have in their banks and wondering whether it's any safer keeping their money in their bank and stuffing it under their mattress.
So what next for Cyprus then?
Well, you've got to hope that now that they've come to this agreement, that Cyprus will sort out their finances and that they will make sure that they try and sort out their budget and that the banks rebuild themselves. But if they don't, we could just find it to be very expensive sticker plaster, and a few months down the road, they might need another bailout.
That's Syed Kamall, a Conservative MEP for London. Right.